You want to talk about white privilege? I was born dirt poor. Roaches in our food, mattresses on the floor, eviction notices taped to the doors, kind of poor. My parents, their side hustle was beating me and my siblings bloody. I missed more meals than I can count. When we did eat, it was ramen, canned foods, or whatever we could steal from the gas station. There were 8 of us kids. Don't come at me like I grew up in some quiet backwoods town either. We weren't hearing deer rifles. We were hearing 9mm and Glocks on a nightly basis. Not because we were hunting, because we were dodging stray bullets in the inner city. I had a baby as a teenager, thought maybe I could break the cycle, went to college, flunked out quick. Life was swinging before I even had a chance to plant my feet. Then the military came knocking, promised me structure, a future, and a way out. What I got? Another flavor of hell. Straight out of basic, they shipped me to Afghanistan. 19 years old, couldn't buy a beer back home, but I could carry a rifle, kick indoors, and watch friends die in pieces. I came home to a wife who had cheated on me while I deployed, ended in divorce, missed my baby's first steps, first words, first everything. I got the title Dad, but only for 2 days every other week when the courts allowed me. So I drank, I numbed it out, I drowned it in alcohol and women, hopped from job to job, security, government contracts, even worked with the feds for a minute, but it all fell apart. I ended up homeless, ashamed, alone, and broken. Now, I've been sober for 4 years, been through more therapy than most folks can stomach, read hundreds of books, and here's what I figured out. As bad as I have had it, if I was black, I probably wouldn't have survived it. That ain't an opinion, that's truth. Black Americans make up 13% of the population, but 38% of the prison population. 1 in 3 black boys born today, they're expected to end up behind bars. That ain't by accident, that is policy. That's centuries of systemic racism passed off as justice. The 13th Amendment did not abolish slavery, it rebranded it. It says slavery is legal as punishment for a crime. That's why we got corporations making billions off of prison labor while folks inside earn cents an hour if they're lucky. That clause was written to target black Americans, and it's still doing exactly that. Now I run an organization called West Virginia Fights Back. We feed people, we take care of people. No strings, no red tape, no begging for scraps. We take care of our own because the government won't. My dream? A Fights Back chapter in every damn state. Abolish the prison industrial complex. Burn the cage down. Build something real in its place. Fred Hampton said, you can jail a revolutionary, but you cannot jail the revolution. This is not about shame. This is about responsibility. If you've had the privilege of not being targeted by the system, you've got the duty to help tear it down.
Grand rising kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean, welcome back to my YouTube space. I hope you're doing great and I hope you have seen my previous episodes. Welcome back, and I greet you with love, with pride, and with the same unwavering spirit that has carried our people through centuries of struggle and victory. Now, today I'm going to talk about something important here. There's a videos I've compiled of white people, my brothers and sisters. They're regretting, they're learning the hard way about the lies they were told, maybe about black people, about white privilege, about racism, about everything. For centuries, white people built a world on lies. They build nations, empires on lies. Lies about race, lies about history, lies about who holds power and why. Now, black people across the globe, all over the world, from Africa, from Caribbean, they have been warning them. They have been warning black people. They have been telling them that the system you trust is not what you think it is. It will betray you one time. And they never listen to that. And now that betrayal has arrived. Okay? White people are waking up angry and delusioned, not because they suddenly care about justice, but because the lies they were told to protect them are now hurting them. The white privilege they were taught about it is now hurting them too. Now, today, I'm going to break this down. But before I do that, I want you to watch these clips of my white brothers and sisters, because this isn't just an American problem. This is Europe problem. This is Africa. This is Australia. This is global problem about the false system. Let's watch these clips and then we come back and talk about it.
This video is for my white brothers and sisters. Do you believe that white privilege exists? Up until recently, I was living off of $900 a month for the last 3 years, and as you'd imagine, I needed government aids to survive. As for my childhood, I moved more times than I care to count, and if I ate that day, it was usually ramen noodles. You and I, as white people, do not see white privilege, especially if we came from the struggle. We are not privileged in the sense that we are handed everything, because although I came from the struggle, if I was black or brown, I would have had to have dealt with racism on top of everything else that I was struggling with. White privilege is not about what you have been given because you are white, it's about what you do not have to endure because you are white. Over 70% of the United States is classified as white, so we are in general treated as human beings. And although being treated like a human being is not a privilege, it's a right, in general, black and indigenous and people of color are not treated with the respect that they deserve. So to those who are being disrespected by a society, when looking at those who are being treated like they're human, it looks a lot like privilege. Hence, white privilege.
What has happened to our fucking country? My friend just told me that his good friend is down in Panama. He's like an ex-CIA SF guy, and he's watching people show up in hundreds and hundreds because there's no passport or immigration rules in Ecuador or some shit like that, and they walk the Darien all the way here, man. This is designed. It is like a fire sale right now. They are printing money, and our whole money system is built on debt. It's a joke. It's the world's greatest Ponzi scheme that they have convinced the masses to just do whatever the fuck they say. I'm a woke mother now, dude. And I am Gen X. And I played in the streets until the fucking lights came on or it was dark. And if you weren't home, they were coming for your ass. And they knew where you were. I never had a phone. The internet came about and I was like, fuck shit. I resisted computers. I just went to work and exchanged my time for money that they took in tax 50% of and sent it elsewhere for evil designs. People, we somehow have remained politically silent, being okay with our little bubbles that we create. I think that's what Gen X does, is create bubbles that make it okay to live. And what we're seeing as part of this waking up is the fact that we can't live in that bubble anymore. And this is why. I'm so fired up. This poor lady has worked her whole life. And her and her husband just admit to the whole world on TikTok that they can't pay their fucking bills. I say we boycott them, and I say we hit them where it hurts. I want everybody that sees this to follow. Cancel my clothing subscription or some shit like that. It's the guy on the internet. He's getting real famous, and he's putting graphs on his website of who owns everything. And it's the same people. Wise up. The only way that we can take control is to not give them our money. Spend your money at the local market, whatever money you have left. Grow a garden. Collect rainwater. Build a generator. Take out a credit card to do it if you have to, and quit fucking paying the credit card. Because it's a joke. But get independent, people. It's a movement. And if they can't control us, Walk away. Walk away from the system. I hate it. There's only a few places free in the world, and I'm in Alaska. And I'm not in everybody's bubble right now. I'm in my own, but I feel it because of this app. I've only been on TikTok a week. This is my second video, and I'm fired the fuck, people. Wake up. Do the right thing. Fight the corporations who own our politicians. Do not let them divide us. We are the same thing. We're all people trying to be okay, trying to survive. We're not trying to be greedy. We're trying to work for an honest living. That's what we thought our whole lives. That's what we were supposed to do. Exchange our time for money. We just don't want it taxed anymore, mother. Okay? We want to be able to afford our bubble. And we'll go back in that fucking bubble when Gen X fixes this shit. I don't know what we got to do, but I'm on board. Thank you.
You've been lied to your whole life and don't even know it.
This was the biggest realization I had when I moved to Asia. We were bred to be absolute fucking slaves. Everything you do is in the best interest of massive corporations and the government's control over you. You're sold on a consumeristic ideology that you need the bigger house, the fastest car, and the flashiest bust down. The Federal Reserve is in fact the biggest scam in human history. And you're told that happiness is only attainable if it's bought. People out here don't have shit, but they're happier than you will ever be. You literally have the option to be here right now, but instead you fell for the trap to sit in a cubicle thinking that one day that will allow you to get here. It's the most genius trap to make the wealthy wealthier and the poorer poorer. As soon as we stop participating in this fucking rat race, watch how the elites shit their pants when the cash flow stops.
I am leaving the United States of America. A lot of people ask me why. There isn't just one reason. In fact, I used to think there was more reasons pulling me to the place that I'm going versus reasons that were pushing me out. However, this has kind of changed a lot in just the past few years. I'll talk about one reason here today. The biggest reason is I don't see a future for myself here anymore. I play music professionally. I do gigs at bars and restaurants. I sing songs, and it's awesome. I've never had to have a big boy job, right? But 5 years ago, I did this 4 to 5 times a week, and I had enough money to pay my mortgage, pay all my bills, and at the end of the month, actually have extra to save and invest, and things were good. Over the course of just the past 5 years, this has changed drastically. I am actually making more money now, but I have way less money at the end of the month because all my expenses have gone up drastically. Groceries doubled. My utilities and energy bills up 60-70%. My mortgage went up. Every conceivable expense that I have has increased drastically. And I know my story isn't unique. Everyone's cost of living has risen, including around the world. This isn't just an America problem, but where I'm living in Tampa, Florida, the cost of living has gotten so dramatically expensive, it's just not feasible anymore. I saw an article saying in my city you have to make $111,000 a year just to live comfortably, which I don't have a single friend my age that makes that. It's just not feasible, especially not for me. 2-3 years ago when things were expensive and the prices were going up, I used to think, well, it's going to get better, things will come back around, the prices will go back down, and things will go back to normal. But month after month, year after year of things not improving and no one is really coming to help us and nothing's going to change, I don't know what to think anymore. The only option is to leave. We all know the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. I'm living every single day here over and over again, expecting it to get better, and it's not. So the way I see it, I have 3 options. I can change it, I can leave it, or I can accept it. I can't change it. We all have one vote, and we voted, and things are what they are right now, right? I can accept it and live in a permanent state of tolerable unhappiness, but that really doesn't seem like a way to live life. I'd rather thrive than just survive. Or I can leave it. And out of the 3 options I presented here today, I think leaving it is my only option, really. So my girlfriend and I are leaving. We are moving out of the country because we don't see a future here anymore, which is super exciting. We're excited to try a new chapter of our lives. It's also a little sad that we have to leave because things have gotten so bad here. But, I guess that's just life. Maybe I'll touch on more reasons why we're leaving specifically in future videos, and maybe even more reasons why we're going to the place we're going, because there's a lot of positivity in this as well. If you find this interesting, stick around. You might enjoy my content, and I don't think I'm alone in this. Okay, I think the American dream we were all promised is a lie. Or maybe it was true at one point, but not in 2025.
Am I the only one that feels like the new American dream is getting the fuck out of this country? And honestly, the state of this country right now is fucking terrifying. We just don't feel like sticking around to see what rock bottom for the United States looks like. So we've been doing some research and we're like 99% sure that we're just going to move to France. We're gonna say fuck it and we're gonna move to France. We've been looking at pretty much everything that I can nonstop, trying to figure out, what does it look like to move my entire family to France? And the crazy thing is that it would be cheaper for me to move my entire family to France and get all of my kids college educations than it would be to send one of my kids to college here in the United States. How fucking crazy is that? If you feel like me and living in the United States feels like maybe this isn't the option for you, and maybe your family wants to move overseas and you want to follow along, or if you might have questions that maybe I figured out, hit the follow button. Let's
Welcome back, my good family. Now, how many times have black people said the system was never built for the people? How many times black people have said the system is rigged, not for only black people, but for everyone? They have said the system has been built for profit, for control, and for the few. During slavery, black people said it. During colonization or colonism, black people said it. During Jim Crow, black people said it. During apartheid, they said it. And each time, black people, we were told to stop complaining. We were told to work harder, to study hard. We were told to respect the law and be patient. Now, for example, in America, our elders, FBA elders, black American elders, told white America that mass incarceration wasn't about safety, it was about control. In the Caribbean, leaders told Britain that debt traps and IMF loans were chains in disguise. In Africa, we told France and Belgium that independence without economic freedom was a scam. But white people believed the lies because it benefited them. And at least at the time, they thought the system was on their side. And that's why you see a lot of them are complaining about the American dream. They are saying American dream is no more. You have had the videos. Some are complaining about the white privilege. Some are running away from their countries because the dream they were told, the privilege they were told is no longer working. Back then, they thought police brutality only happened to black people. They thought unfair laws only hurt black people. They thought economic failures only on black people. They thought government corruption was only on a third world problem. And now, it is hitting them hard. They are realizing it, and they are realizing it the hard way. The same system they defended, it is turning on them. So they are learning it the hard way. And I always say, the white power is mostly built on the lies. To understand why they are so delusional, we have to remember the lies that they were raised on. Some of them have come out and said about it. Now, for example, according to how I have listened to a lot of white people who are coming out and telling the truth, is the lie was like white society is fair and just. From American school books to European history lessons, the story was always that white people are civilized, we are moral, we believe in freedom. But when you peel back the layers, you see genocide, you see enslavement, you see land theft, you see exploitation. What does that tell you? Lie number 2 is about hard work is all you need. Middle class white people, poor white people, black people, brown people, Asian American, all these people, like, for example, white societies push the myth that if you work hard, you will succeed. But they never admitted that their wealth was built on stolen labor, stolen land, and stolen resources. So the game was never fair, even for working class white people. You be there, you are being told to work hard, but at the end of the day, it is not giving at all. Lie number 3 was that colonization was for development. From Africa to Asia to the Pacific, they claimed colonization was about helping native people. But in reality, it was about stripping countries of gold, diamond, oil, and human beings. Now, another lie I think is about racism is just in the past. They convinced their own people that racism ended with civil rights, that colonialism was long ago, that everyone was now equal. But let me tell you, racism wasn't dismantled. Racism is still there. It just evolved. And these lies created a false sense of security for white people. And now, as the crack shows, they feel betrayed. Look around in America. White farmers are facing foreclosures right now. White farmers are out here, they are making video, they are regretting, they are crying. They thought only black farmers dealt with. They thought that suffering is only for black farmers. Some are saying, we never know we are voting for. We thought this problem is for black farmers because of mismanagement. It's because they don't know how to manage themselves. But I never knew it is the problem for everyone. In Europe, you see, measures are, in Australia, you may see the cost of living is forcing young white Australians to realize their grandparents' privilege is gone. So the white privilege they were taught of is gone. If they could have taught the real history from the same day, maybe their life could be better because they could know how to depend on themselves. They could know how to fight for themselves. When I go back to history, the 2008 financial crash wiped out savings across the globe, if you remember that. Do you remember the days of COVID-19? It exposed how fragile their economies really were. Political leaders from Trump in America to Boris Johnson in the UK showed that they cared more about elites than ordinary citizens. Suddenly, white people were feeling the same hopelessness they used to ignore in black people. And history has shown this before. I love backing my narrative with history. I tell you always, I spend most of time going back to the books. In the USA, after slavery ended, poor white sharecroppers learned they were just as disposable to plantations owners. In the USA, after slavery ended, poor whites sharecroppers learned they were just as disposable to plantation owners as freed black people. But instead of uniting, the system used racism to keep them divided. They knew what was happening because they went through problems. They went through the same problems black farmers were going through. And even when the billions of money came, it was just shared to the corporate farmers. But they knew this and they went through the same problems with white or with black people. But at the end of the day, the system used racism. The system used skin color to divide. Instead of poor white farmers and black farmers uniting, they divided. And that was the best time for them to unite. But they used racism. Now, just the other day in South Africa, after apartheid failed, some white South Africans realized that the government they thought represented them had left them vulnerable to global market forces too. In Europe, when colonies gained independence, many white workers realized their cheap goods and stable jobs were tied to the exploitation of others. And when that exploitation ended, so did their stability. This pattern is clear. White lies work for white people until the system doesn't need them anymore. I always tell my white brothers and sisters, example, the poor working class white people or the poor white people and the working class white people, we are all the same. How the system brainwashed black people is the same way it brainwashed white people. So it brainwashed white people to see black people as the problem, but only few people are benefiting from that. Now, let's move from history and come to these modern days. And right now, things are coming out openly, okay? The truth is coming out openly. My episode that I've done last, it's exposing the lies and the, how white people are going through hell that they ignored back then. Right now in America, Trump policies, which many white voters supported, have backfired. Trade wars hurt farmers, cuts to health care hurt rural communities, deregulation allowed corporations to exploit workers. So white and black, we are all the same. And we are all going through the same shit. Believe me, right now, my white friends who are now knowing the truth, they are putting structure to unite with black people, because this fight is not only for black people. This fight is not only for poor white people. This fight is not only for immigrants. It's not only for illegal immigrants or for Mexicans or for Latinos or for Asians. It's for everyone. The system was never meant for you to smile. The system was never meant for you to win. The system is meant for you to work, and work. We need to know that. In Britain, we have something that we call Brexit. It was sold as a way to take back control. Instead, it crashed the economy. It raised prices and left working class white people worse off. In Africa, France's exploitation through CFA franc is collapsing as African nations reject it, leaving French citizens facing higher energy prices and economic strains. Right now, when the economy of France is falling down, the French people are going through hardship. And those who at least they know what's going on, they now realizing that they were living off the back of Africans. So globally, the so-called Western superiority is falling apart. The economies are slowing, the political system are crumbling, and the illusion of moral leadership is gone. Okay? Now, here's where it's getting real. My white brothers and sisters aren't just sad. They are angry. And they feel lied to by their politicians, their media, their history books. They are now realizing that the freedom they bragged about was conditional, that the wealth they enjoyed was borrowed, and the democracy they trusted is corrupt. And some are lashing out, blaming immigrants, blaming minorities, blaming globalization. But deep down, many know that this very system they defended is the one that is betraying them. I have a white friend. And he calls me and tells me he's from Germany, tells me how things is going on. And he tells me that he regrets back then supporting the white privilege thing. It's affecting him big time because the economy is bad because of the privilege. He can't just come out to Africa maybe because in Africa, we believe you have the privilege. We believe you are rich, white man, So it is hurting. It's hurting. But here is the key to black people. We could gloat. We could say we told you so. We could laugh at the fact that the pain they ignored is now theirs. But instead, we ain't doing that. We must recognize that this moment is for what it is. It is the proof that the truth will always rise. Proof that lies cannot hold forever. Proof that justice may be delayed but not denied. It's a proof that black people, we are all knowing, and we got the mind and we got the force to move and to move. So from Africa resource independence to Caribbean nations demanding reparations, from young white Europeans rejecting imperialism. By the way, white Gen Zs, they are now joining forces and rejecting these lies. Gen Zs in America are choosing black culture over white traditionals. So the shift is here. This is it's a shift that is happening right before our own eyes. The truth is global now, and the world knows that white supremacy is a fragile illusion. So kings and queens, we are living in a time of historic change. White people are feeling the betrayal we have known for centuries, and their rage is real. Their delusionment is deep, but it is the same storm that black people have weathered all our lives. So our task here now is keep building, keep uniting, keep strengthening ourselves, because as their system crumbles, we must be ready to lead. We are not here to save their system. We are here to replace it with one built on truth, one built on justice, and one built on equality for all people. So families, lies are falling and the truth is rising. Tell me what you think on the comment section. Now, what I want you to do, if you love this commentary, please like this video. After liking this video, share to any person you think they may need to hear this, okay? Until next episode, peace out.